So thanks, Ezeke, for joining us. And I was chatting to a couple of clients over the last few months, and I heard this name pop up a couple of times, and got quite interested in the ladies from what I heard about the detox barn, and I heard they were doing some really great things, and one of our clients was raving about them. So I tracked Sharon and Lauretta down from the detox barn, and we got chatting, and we thought it would be great to put on this event today. Lots of our clients are interested in this kind of thing, so yeah, it was just really fortuitous that we happened to hear about them. So I'm just going to hand you across to Ian now.
Morning, everybody. I'm Ian Smith. I'm the other half of Your People Associates Limited. I'm really excited about the session today as well. I've been looking forward to it for quite some time now. We've been having a lot of conversations within our clients and within just HR circles in general around engagement and well-being and how important that is, and a very hot topic at the moment. We've spoken in our previous blogs and previous webinars about how many different people in the workplace are in different places right now. Some people have been at home, some people have been furloughed, and really, putting your arms around your people and trying to give them some support and some help and some encouragement in terms of healthy lifestyle and well-being. It's certainly something that people seem to find topical. And something else that keeps coming up is around employee engagement. Now, it's difficult enough to get that right at the best of times when you're able to be together, and even more of a challenge sometimes to get that right when we're remote from one another. And yes, there is ways that you can get the message across in Zoom, but really what we wanted to do was put something together or put some offerings together that were a little bit more innovative and a little bit more fresh ideas than perhaps just replaying something over Zoom, and also being mindful that everybody's got a slightly different setup at home, but hopefully everybody's got access to a kitchen where they can prepare food and cook, and we thought that this would be a really good idea for something that we could explore by means of a team build or team effectiveness type workshop, where we could also get the well-being piece across, and that's how the session. So without further ado, I'd like to pass over to Sharon and Lauretta, and let them tell us a little bit about the barn and their lifestyle and all the rest of it. Take it away.
Thank you, Ian. Thanks, Ian. Thank you all for joining us today. We just thought, first of all, it might be quite nice to tell you a little bit about ourselves. We're sisters. My name's Lauretta and this is Sharon. In our other job, we are comedy writers and performers. I know vegans that are meant to be funny. We're trying to break the mold. So we write comedy, we write scripts. We had just written a play for the West End that was about to open, and then COVID struck. And that's obviously been put on hold permanently. Yeah. So apart from that, we also set up a business 2 years ago called the Detox Barn, which has been really, really successful. It's a health retreat where we help people just get a little bit healthier, really. And I'll let Sharon explain why we came about setting this business up.
Yeah, so I mean, I wasn't always this sort of health nut, about sort of 8 years ago now, I would regularly be drinking a couple of glasses of wine a night. I would.
When she said she was drinking a couple of glasses of wine, she actually found a glass that could fit a whole bottle of wine in. I'm just having the one glass. Okay.
One glass.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was. I was definitely into sort of some serious unhealthy habits. But cut to today, there's been quite a big transformation, and primarily it's due to the fact that I was struck by quite a severe chronic autoimmune disease called dermatomyositis.
Which took him about 2 years to learn how to say.
Yeah, it's really tricky. But it's quite similar to, I don't know if any of you know, lupus. And I woke up one day and I was covered head to toe in a chronic skin rash, which at first they thought was eczema.
So I'm just going to share you so you can see a photo, so you can see how far Sharon has come. 1 second. Share screen. What's it? So that was Sharon's skin at her worst. She was literally covered head to toe in that, all over her face, her head. I mean, it's like something from a science book. As kids, you'd be like, ugh, disgusting,
gross.
you know.
But I'm always quite pleased with that photo because it was like the first time in my life I ever had a thigh gap. And I think my legs look quite skinny. So yeah, I mean, that will just show you like how bad the skin was.
Have I stopped sharing? Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. We don't want to be looking at my leg all morning, do we?
No.
Yeah, so it was pretty bad. And then what followed after that was which was the worst of it, I lost the power of my muscles. And I couldn't hold my arms up, I couldn't brush my hair, I couldn't dress myself. I practically was in a wheelchair and I could barely walk. And I was also pregnant. It was an absolute nightmare. I was 6 weeks pregnant, but luckily everything was all right with my little boy. He's now 8 today. But it was a horrific time, you know, and the doctors put me on a lot of drugs that basically suppressed my immune system, you know, within an inch of its life, basically, which is never a good thing. And thank God I'm off all the drugs now, because with COVID, I don't know how I would definitely been on the list. So they put me on all these drugs, and the drugs kind of got me halfway there. You know, they got me standing again. Nothing worked for my skin. They got me standing again. I could walk again. I could just about dress myself. But I was a shadow of my former self. You know, I used to run half marathons. I was always a very high energy, active person. So the doctors would say, you know, well, you have to get used to a new normal. You know, this is your new normal now. And I was like, I don't want this to be my new normal, you know. And I had a little boy, and, you know, I didn't want the memories of him to be of his mum as this sort of sick person that was always half in bed. And, you know, I wanted him to know me for who I was before the sickness. And I didn't want to be defined by the sickness either. So I started on a long journey of research, and I started to look at the drugs that I was on. And one of the side effects was lymphoma cancer as a side effect of one of the drugs. So I was like, oh my God, you know, this is serious shit I'm on now. I've got to find a way. So I did loads and loads of research, and some things came back, and it was the same message that kept coming back. And it was some correlating factors. The people that got better from chronic autoimmune diseases, like lupus, like MS, like pretty full-on diseases, they all had things in common. One of them was that they took responsibility for their disease. They changed their lifestyles and their diet drastically. You know, they became, the ones that I followed became plant-based. They cut processed sugars, they cut alcohol, they juiced heavily. They changed everything about their lives. So I started to look at all these messages, and I was like, okay, I was feeling rather depressed. I was like, okay, so I might get better, but I'm going to be bloody miserable eating lettuce every day, you know. So I was like, how am I going to do this? I don't think I want to be this sort of clean eating, you know, health nut. You know, I never envisioned myself as that. But you know, obviously I was like, maybe I should try. Maybe this could get me better. So I did, and I did it in stages. I gave up alcohol. That was the first thing I did. And then I moved on to the groups, the processed sugars, the meat, all of it. And it took a long time. It wasn't a quick fix, but over about 4 or 5 years, I got slowly and slowly better. I'm now off all drugs, and I'm sort of better than before I was sick. You know, because before I was sick, I was sort of drinking every night and, you know, having Chinese takeaways. So I feel I truly am a new version of myself, but it sounds so corny, but it actually is a better version of who I used to be. It's a new normal that I absolutely love. And Lauretta came along for the ride, really.
Yeah, I said, look, if you're going to do this, I'm going to do it with you, and I'm going to, let's make it brilliant. So I retrained as a natural vegan chef, and I actually fell in love with becoming healthy and being healthy. We come from a big Irish family, and you know, we'd invite my parents and all my brothers and sisters around for dinner, and they think we're nutters because we're vegan. Yeah, never mind not drinking.
Yeah,
you know, what it's like with Irish people.
Yeah,
but they do all
Irish vegans. Total.
Yeah, no, it's just sci-fi.
Yeah.
And they walk away and they go, we love this food. You know, it's really great. And then we take our girlfriends to Suffolk, and they'd all be getting absolutely hammered. And
Suffolk is where we run our detox bar retreats, just so you know. So
yeah. And they'd get hammered, and we'd be up in the morning and we'd go for runs, and then we're doing ginger shots, and they'd be like, oh my God, I can't see, oh, where's the water? And then one weekend after we spent the weekend with them, they said, you need to do this for other people, because I feel inspired to make changes. And then something clicked, and we went, we do, that's what we need to do. Because, you know, although we are these clean eating, you know, we're not your typical clean eating. We can understand how they can grate. Yeah. And the people we met, we found nauseating. My truth is...
Namaste. Every time I go on a retreat, everyone's saying namaste all the time. And I'm like, just because you're healthy doesn't mean you need to turn into a twat, you know. So we knew there was a market out there just for the normal person that doesn't want to become a monk or a Buddha, but just wants to be a bit healthier and doesn't know how to change.
And we have done so much work on change, so much research on how to change, how to make habits, how to be healthier. We thought, right, we could do this, and it's been very successful.
So we're going to talk a little bit about how we've been working with teams. What we're going to show you today is kind of a bit of a mix match of what we deliver.
Yeah, we do a cook along. We're thinking about doing that for you guys today, but then we thought actually just watching us cook wouldn't be conducive, because I think that the point of the cook-alongs is that we interact with everybody. So we give them loads of tips and we give them loads of healthy advice, but they do it with us, and it's really good fun, and we chat to each other. And I think, Ian, you were talking about earlier about, you know, people feeling not very connected working from home, and it was just one thing that we found, and we did it through lockdown, that it was really connecting, and people felt, we had a laugh, you know, and also people felt inspired afterwards to make really healthy, nutritious food for their families.
I think as well with lockdown, I think it went through a cycle, didn't it? At the beginning, everyone was just like comfort food and alcohol. How do we get through this stress?
Yes.
And then I think it went on so long, people were like, okay, I'm getting really fat now, and I'm starting to feel miserable, and I actually don't want to continue on this trajectory. So when we started doing the lockdown, obviously it's now working from home, the lockdown, you know, it was the highlight of people's day to get there, to be inspired, to have other people connecting online, to have a laugh. And we didn't know we were going to be working from home for so long, and it is continuing. So it's now working really well with companies. It's a bit of a team builder. It's also really, they learn something new. They learn something really healthy that they can, you know, continue cooking. So that, we're not going to show you the cook along today, but just to explain to you, it's a very connecting, very team building exercise to do. The other thing we do is webinars. So what you're going to see today is a sort of mix mash of all the webinars.
Yeah, lots of different things. We thought it might be nice for you just to take away, as well as listening to us rattle on, to take away some nice healthy tips. Because I think one thing we've all found from working from home is that, you know, we're reaching for the Pringles and we're eating rubbish. We're also all feeling really stressed, because, you know, I don't care what anyone says, you know, there's a virus out there. And, you know, as much as it has become the new normal, it is subconsciously feeding into our minds all the time. You know, I walk to Tesco and people have got masks on and you're spraying sanitizer, and you're like, this is our life. Yeah. And this is what we're dealing with, and we're going to bed at night, and it's normal, but the stress that we're under is phenomenal, and we won't realise till we're right out of it actually what we've been going through. We've also talked a little bit about, you know, that line, and I think I spoke to you about it, Nicola, that line between home and work has really blurred. And I think you said you changed your office so that, you know, your office was no longer in your living room and you put it into another room, because I think they've shown research that people are answering more emails, are doing more work, are more burnt out working from home than they are when they go to the office. At least you have a break, you get on the tube and you can read your book, or, you know.
And also just to echo a bit of that about the COVID message, you know, from the government, we've heard a lot about it, and it's, you know, social distancing, it's sanitizing, it's washing your hands, but nobody's talking about supporting your immune system, which is the most important thing you can do.
It's the one thing you can take control of, and actually, if you look at the data, if you look at the stats, it's the people with compromised immune systems that are really suffering. I mean, obviously there's going to be one, you know, that hasn't got a compromise that it happens to, but if you look at the stats and we really analyse it, it's people with compromised immune systems. So I think what this one thing that COVID has shown us is that actually being unhealthy you know, it puts you in a very vulnerable position sometimes. And our webinars it's not about lecturing, it's about making people aware that they can just do really little things, really small things to make themselves 10% healthier. Even one of the things we talk about is exercise, and we'll talk about that a little bit in a minute. But, you know, they show that research shows that exercise, even just adequate exercise, makes you 50% more productive. That's just adequate exercise.
Yeah.
Exercises, we're bang on about it.
We will.
But it is one of the things that really feeds into being more productive, being more focused, helping you sleep better, and actually making you happier. It's a great way, if you're feeling stress, to be less stressful.
And we'll talk about it in a bit, but it doesn't mean, you know, sort of running 100 miles, you know, going out there, you know, burning it, and, you know, even 20 minutes of a brisk walk will really help, and incorporating that into your daily lives. And we'll talk about that as well. I think we're going to move on to make a juice now.
Yeah, so we're doing an immune boosting juice. Now, I understand that not everybody working from home will have a juicer. At the Detox Farm, we do encourage people to get a juicer. I think you can get them really cheap now. The reason why I encourage it, because I know you don't want to waste your money, but the reason why I encourage it is because it's a great way to get your 10 a day in and to get all your nutrients in one go. I also think it's a great way, if you start your day like that, it has a knock-on effect on the rest of the day.
All the choices that you make are fed by that first choice, that first thing in the morning. You know, we always say, if you start off the morning with a bacon butty, you know, by lunchtime you're on the quavers. You know, you start off with, give yourself half a chance.
Yeah.
Even if you eat rubbish for the rest of the day, okay, you've got your nutrients in first thing, and it's deeply habitual. I mean, and you talk about habits, about at the beginning when you first start a habit, it becomes...
Yeah, when you first try and do something new, it feels rubbish. You just think, and
you've got resistance to it.
You feel uncomfortable and you go, ugh. If you keep doing it, it then starts to become tolerable. Yeah, all right, okay, I can do it. And then if you keep doing it, you eventually get to the point where you don't feel good without it. And that's where you need to get with habits. So you have to work through those 3 stages. The first stage, you're going, ugh, hate it, awful, rubbish, makes me feel sick, why am I doing it? The second stage is, all right, okay, I've done it, I can keep going. I'll say, they say go 30 days, I'll see how I feel after 30 days. And then you reach the 30 days and then you go, I really miss it, I wish I had done it, I wish I'd done that run, I wish I'd had that juice, I don't feel right. And that's how it is, but it's pushing through those barriers.
And it's about sort of programming yourself. You know, we are so susceptible. By the time we're 30, we're not making decisions anymore. They're all pre-programmed, you know. Yeah. And it's about breaking that and reprogramming yourself with healthy habits that will help you, and that will, you know, give you better productivity. It will help all aspects of your life. So it really is about just programming yourself with, you know, when I had to change my diet radically, I brainwashed myself. Every single day I watched a YouTube video on someone that was a raw vegan, every single day, how she did it, what she's getting from it. I had to just continually hear the messages. Anyway, okay, so this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna make an immune boosting juice. And we will tell you all the benefits of what we're putting in this juice if you haven't got a juicer as well, so that you can eat more of this stuff. But it's so much easier in a juicer. And as I say, they're really not that expensive anymore. So yeah.
We've got a juicer that's very quick, because as single mums and working from home, if I have to start chopping up vegetables, I'm not going to do it. And that's another tip when you're trying to make new habits. Make it easy. If you don't make it easy, you will stop yourself from doing it. You know, like
if there's loads of faff, you're not going to do it. I mean, although the other end of that, you know, when we're at the Detox Farm, I get lots of people going, oh, but don't you have to clean it? Oh, the cleaning. Don't you have to clean it? I'm like, well, yeah, you do have to clean it. I mean, what do you want to do? Sit with like paper plates and eat and chuck? I mean, there's a little bit of effort, but we literally find the machine with the least effort that you need to do. So there's a few bits of it that you have to clean. But other than that, it's pretty straightforward. I'll show you now. So
carrot seeds are full of beta carotene. They're great for vitamin A. We always leave the skin on and just brush them.
That's organic produce,
because the nutrients are in the skin. Then we've got apples. These are actually great for weight loss. When you eat them, great source of fibre, great for digestion. So they're fantastic to have as a snack as well.
Blood pressure as well, actually.
Yeah, ginger is amazing. It's really good. That's another one that's great for blood pressure. It's great for any infection. it really is one of those things people bang on about superfoods. This is a superfood. It's antibacterial, it's antiviral. If ever you're getting a cold or a cough, a sore throat, it's actually been, it's got a substance in it called gingerol, which they've shown that has been effective in fighting off respiratory illnesses. They did a study on the RSV virus, and ginger was amazing.
Yeah, if we've ever got a cold, we will take about 5 shots of these a day and just keep doing them throughout the day.
The other one is turmeric, which is fantastic as well. When I first saw this, I didn't know what it was. I thought, is it ginger? What is it? We leave the skin on. Again, it's antibacterial, it's anti-inflammatory. They say it's great for Alzheimer's, for aging, for dementia. Now, the one thing with this is, it's really good if you have it with a healthy fat. So if you chuck it into curries, into stews.
On avocado, on a sourdough.
Yes.
It's very trendy now, isn't it? So I see one more Facebook post and someone that's made a sourdough bread.
Yeah, I realised, I come from a working class background, and I realised, how middle class I am when my daughter asked me for sourdough.
Like, oh, Jesus.
What?
Mom, there's no sourdough in the house.
And then we've got lemon. Again, it's antibacterial. We actually leave the skin on because, again, it's unwaxed, which is
unwaxed
important.
and organic, yeah. Well, you can get away with unwaxed without it being organic, but as long as it's unwaxed, then it's fine. I'll show you now, and we'll talk a little bit about organic versus non-organic in a sec. So these literally go in like that. I mean, how easy is that? And then... then the ginger. Oh, sorry, I forgot, yeah, sorry, apples. Right. So, I would say, and this is, it's a bit naff, but, good food really, creates good mood. Good food, good mood. It's so naff. But it is true, we talk a lot about energy, and energy is everything, really. It really is a fundamental pillar of health, because how you feel determines the rest of your day, really. So if you get the right energy, which you get from the right food, that determines your relationships with your co-workers, with your boss, with your mother, with your mother-in-law, everything. If you feel good and everything in your life, it's just a little bit easier. If you've woken up from a hangover and an Indian curry the night before, sitting down at work, I think that's our, no, I think it might be our smoothie, sorry, it's the door. It's Amazon. We've just ordered a new smoothie maker. But it determines everything, so it really is the most important thing you can do for yourself, is to put the right food in yourself so you can have the right energy, to give yourself half a chance. I mean, we always say, I would be a miserable cow if I didn't exercise, if I didn't juice loads, because my natural level of happiness, it's okay, but I'm not bouncing out of bed every morning. But with all these things that we've implemented into our lives, I've got to say, I'm pretty happy, but it takes work. You don't just wake up and be happy. You need a good night's sleep, you need really good food, you need great exercise, and then you've got half a chance at having half a decent day.
People are too happy, though. They get on my nerves.
Yeah, they think, oh, what are they hiding?
There's something wrong.
Yeah. So I'm just going to taste this. That's really good. Yeah. So the other thing we want to just talk about briefly is vitamins. Now, we're not nutritionists or doctors, so I don't want to give too much advice on vitamins, but I think some governments now, especially with COVID, the Irish government are saying you must supplement with things like vitamin D.
I don't know if people have heard about the correlation of vitamin D. Yeah, you have.
Yeah.
Okay, so you can either supplement with it, which is really cheap and easy, or you can get foods that are rich in vitamin D. There has been research that people that are dying from COVID, a very high percentage of them have got low vitamin D levels. So that's a really easy one that you can do.
Yeah.
I actually take a supplement which is natural, and it's called Sun Chlorella. So it's from the plant Chlorella, and it's 100% natural, and it's got a very high vitamin D content. So it's a natural way of taking it, and you can just get that on Amazon.
So yeah, vitamin D in the foods, what are they in the foods? Mushrooms, is it mushrooms?
Mushrooms are really good.
Shikate mushroom, got
Yes.
loads of vitamin D in it.
Yes.
We love saying shikate.
Yeah, button mushrooms, peasants.
So mushrooms are good. Tofu?
Tofu's good. Orange juice. The other brilliant way to get vitamin D is sunlight. So getting outside, getting some air on your face, on your arms, and that correlates with sleep as well, actually. So there's as much sunlight as you can during the day. So that means, you know, when you're doing your working from home, you know, when you've got 10 minutes, rather than checking Facebook or Instagram, just get outside, get some fresh air. It really is rejuvenating, and it will make you feel so much better for it. And even if it means putting your phone down for 10 minutes and just going for a brisk walk and getting that vitamin D, it's the best way to get it.
Yeah.
I mean, I am aware that we live in the UK and it's not always possible. And I think even people that spend a lot of time outside, because we don't get that much sunshine, don't get enough vitamin D. But it's even without COVID, it's a really great supplement to take. The other one is vitamin C. Obviously, we all know about vitamin C. Vitamin C, rich foods, orange juice, obviously.
Broccoli is good.
Broccoli's good. Red peppers. Red peppers.
But she tells this fact every time we sit down. We actually live together with our 2 children, and every time we sit down for dinner, she tells this fact. So I'm so glad she's got a new audience. Go on. She loves it.
I do like this fact. Vitamin C. Red peppers have got more vitamin C than orange. Yes, and I just think that's a nice fact.
Yeah, it is a good fact. Not everyone knows it. Yeah. So vitamin C is good. So the holy grail really is vitamin C, vitamin D, and zinc.
Zinc is another good one. Zinc is a good one because if you do get infections, it's the one vitamin that will help you fight and recover. A lot of athletes take zinc, and it's great for recovery. It's great for skin. It's great for aging and boosting cells. So taking those 3 in combination with each other will be a great way to fight infections and really boost your immune system.
And then, as you said, there is some correlation with vitamin D, and we know that ethnic minorities are more vulnerable, and they tend to have less vitamin D in their skin as well, because they receive melatonin in a different way. So it really is, there is science behind this now. When you think about that, when you just think about, you know, because we don't hear the messages about how food protects us, but when you think about how vitamin D can have a massive, you know, protective element to such a crazy disease as COVID, it makes you realise how important vitamins and nutrition really is. And I know how transformative it is. I mean, I went from, I don't want to eat salad every day, I don't want that to be my life, I'd rather actually be sick. I had that sort of mentality to now, and I truly know how transformative it is. I mean, the beginning of lockdown, I called my doctor because I've still got a little bit red around my fingernails, and I said, you know, it's just annoying me. I mean, how do I get rid of it? And do you have it? What does your other patients do that are off all drugs, are in remission, that still have tiny bits of skin? And he was like, well, I don't really have any other patients off drugs. And sorry, I've got a bet. And so it really hit me again, because I've got used to it now, but it really hit me again at how transformative food really is. And, you know, changing our daily habits has really changed our lives in quite dramatic ways. So yeah,
that's another thing about habits, actually. So small things, small steps can lead to big changes, and never underestimate that.
You know, you are what you repeatedly do. You know, again, it's about programming yourself. And, you know, you obviously want to program your teams to be the most productive they can be. And in order to get there, they need to be as healthy as they can be. The healthier they are, the happier they are. The happier they are, the more productive. It's all linked. We're all linked within this. We're all in this together. So do you want to do a healthy snack, Gemma?
Yeah, so I'll do a healthy snack. Oh, I just wanted to quickly, we didn't touch on this. I wanted to talk about organic versus non-organic when we did the juice.
Yeah.
So organic, I know what it's like. You go to the supermarket and you see a 50p cucumber and you see a £1.50 cucumber. And it's really difficult, isn't it, to go, okay, I'll get the 150 cucumber, because you think, does it make a difference? And I understand that. And we run the Detox Farm. You know, all our stuff is organic. A lot of our stuff is,
I mean, you know, obviously we go, oh God, would they know? But of course, you know, of course we make sure it's organic, because it's what we really believe in. Because it does make a difference.
Yeah, and it's not just us saying it makes a difference. Research has shown the pesticides that they put on non-organic stuff is a real toxin for our body. but also they've done research on like tomatoes, for example, and they've tested them for vitamin C levels. The non-organic had 50% less vitamin C than the organic tomatoes. So I really truly believe that it is worth spending that money, and it's also about reframing how you think you spend your money. So I kind of, you know, it's that story that you tell yourself, oh, it's a waste of money. No, it's not. You're actually giving yourself something really good.
Well, it's just odd what we value as society. You know what I mean? You're fine to spend 30 quid on a bottle of wine, but £1.50 on a cucumber when you could get it for 50. You sort of go, no, I don't want to. So it's about reframing what you prioritise, and we really believe that the biggest priority in your life is your health. You know,
and I suppose you don't really realise it until your health gets affected. That's when you start to back.
I mean, yeah, we always say as well, you know, with my mum, you know, I brought my whole family on this sort of journey a bit, you know. None of them are vegan, by the way, so they haven't gone that far. But at the beginning, my mum was like, oh, Sharon, she's eating so many vegetables, she needs some meat. You know, she really was quite resistant, wasn't she?
Yeah, but she was very much, and I think this is what...
Salad in a bag.
Oh yeah, this is what the media quite successfully does. It confuses us so much that we don't know what to do, because it gives us so many mixed messages that you just kind of, and you know, I remember my mum would say, I'd come over and she'd go, well, one week red wine is good for you, the next week it's bad for you. I mean, you don't know what to do. I read in the Daily Mail, salad in a bag would kill you.
Yeah, salad in a bag could kill you.
And I'm like, Mum, no, it won't kill you. There must have been something in the bloody salad in the bag. I've got no idea.
I don't know, the way they wash it. I don't. She read this fact. But instead of seeing me getting better, she's sitting me down telling me that salad in the bag could kill me. So I might as well just have my wine and eat my meat, and I don't want to hear any of it. But I get it, because we're confused. We all are. And it took me a long time to work out what is the best way for me to live.
But one thing I do say, even though with all that confused messages, and you do get, you know, a few people going, you know, well, is it, does it, you know, and I think, well, actually, you know, eating lots of fresh fruit and vegetables, I don't care what any scientist says, that is good for you. That's my message. Eat as much fresh fruit and vegetables as you can. If you are going to eat meat, eat good meat, eat organic meat. Don't you know the chickens that you see in Sainsbury's that are $1.99, which are more antibiotic than they are anything else? That can't be good. I don't care what anyone says, that can't be good for you. But get a really nice organic one that you know hasn't got all the antibiotics in.
So this isn't really about being vegan, obviously. It's not about converting anyone. It literally is just about being a bit healthier. And if you want to have a bit more vegan, plant-based options in your life, then we would love to share those with you. So it's really just about that. We are not the vegan police.
No.
You know.
I didn't say about the organic versus non-organics. So my point was, if you are going to get non-organic, go for stuff that has got a hard skin on it. So they're the things you can get away with. Things like bananas, avocados, pineapples, melons. Those things, don't worry about it too much, because the sprays won't go, you know, they won't go into the skins. But things like strawberries, raspberries, apples, tomatoes, pears, those kind of things, if you can, and I know it's expensive, if you can, get organic. I would recommend it. And a lot of supermarkets now do really reasonable organic. Sainsbury's is really good. Yeah. Tesco's is good. Waitrose, I like it, but it's expensive. Yeah.
So I'm just going to talk a bit about healthy snacking now, because that can be one of your downfalls, can't it? You know, if you've got a food low or you're hungry or whatever, and you're not prepared, you will automatically go for a bad choice. You will just, because your brain's craving sugar, so it will just go, how can I get sugar into my system? You know, and that's when you will fail. So we're going to talk about having healthy snacks to hand, alternatives that work really, really well. You just need to be a little bit prepped.
Yeah. So the first one is just really basic. It's just blueberries, cashews, and raisins. And cashews are great, actually. They're great for magnesium, and they're also good to for a mood enhancer. They help with depression. Blueberries are full of antioxidants, and they're super healthy. And just having that in a little bag, you know, is really helpful.
Or on your desk, you know, just have it nearby so you can make, you know, you can just snack on those really easily. And it's really nice because it's got sweet with savoury, so it works really well.
The other thing is, this is a really easy snack that I do. So it's just a date. So I take the stone out, and I get a walnut, and put the walnut inside the date. Can you all see that? And then a bit of peanut butter on the top. That's your sort of healthy equivalent to a Mars bar.
No, it actually does taste a bit like a marathon. With the peanut butter, with the almond butter, it's quite, I don't know, peanutty with sweetness. So it actually works really well with a cup of tea. Because a lot of the time when you have dinner and you fancy something, you just fancy something sweet. So even if I have raisins or a date like that, the craving is gone after that. Are you going to show them?
Yeah, so the other thing I wanted to show you, and this is really easy. So inside here, I've got 3...
Shall I show you them?
Yeah.
This is jumbo porridge oats. We're going to make this quickly. Jumbo porridge oats in a bowl. In a bowl.
Now, we use overripe bananas. You can see how overripe they are. I love going to the shops and getting a deal on these.
Oh, she's
It
so
drives her
embarrassing.
nuts.
She's always doing a banana. How much for the ripe? I'm like, oh God. Although my mum, when we were younger, we would literally go to somewhere like John Lewis and she'd go, how much for cash? And it's like,
and as teenagers,
the same,
mortified.
we're not on the market. How much will you do for cash?
So I'm just going to chuck these bananas in the porridge oats.
Shall I put the oven on?
Put the oven on, yeah. And then I just do, I've got maple syrup. I normally get organic maple syrup, although it is expensive. I think it's about $6.99 for this, but I couldn't get any, but that's just normal maple syrup. So I'm going to put 2 spoons of that on. There we go.
And mash this together.
Yeah. Then a little bit of vanilla extract. And some cinnamon. We're actually at the moment talking to TV networks about a cook show. I just don't know how that is going to go.
Us doing a cook show.
I've got no idea, but anyway, we'll see.
We're so scatty.
Watch this space. Look, I've got banana skins and everything. And then you just get a fork and just mash it all together. And then what I do is, once it's all mashed together, I just turn it into little balls and then put them into the oven, and they are really delicious.
It's like, when they come out, it tastes like, what's that thing that you said the other day? Banana bread. Banana bread.
Yeah.
That's what it tastes like. It's really nice. And it's warm as well. Something about having something warm with a cup of tea. And it's really healthy. I mean, it's just bananas, oats, raisins, and
cinnamon, and that's it. Yeah, really, really super healthy, and it's sweet enough. My tip with porridge oats is I always get jumbo porridge oats because lots of people want to have porridge for breakfast, which is really good. It's a great source of fibre, and it's really filling and sustains you. So it's brilliant. But when you get the really fine stuff, it doesn't taste as good. So I get organic Flanagan's jumbo oats, and I do it with an oat milk or almond milk. You can see that there. And then I make it for about 6 minutes, and it tastes really creamy and lovely, and not just like, you know, I don't know, a pool of squidge that doesn't taste that nice. Okay,
I'm going to
roll them up to balls. If you get that little tray there. So I just get a little ball like this. And then I just put it, I've already put oil in this. And then...
while you're doing that, shall I start talking about exercise, my favourite subject?
Yeah.
So I'll just let you finish doing that, but it's a really good healthy snack. So the other thing we talk about in our webinars is about exercise and about how beneficial it is, and tips to be able to stick to it. Because we all have that, oh, I'm going to go exercising, I'm going to get up at 6, you know, I'm going to do it every day this week. And sometimes we set ourselves up to fail a bit. You know, the alarm goes off and you've got that battle going, I've hardly slept, I can't get up now, it's dark, don't be ridiculous, I'll do it tomorrow. There's all that kind of daily battle that goes on. But once you have an exercise regime really implemented into your habits, then the choice of exercise is gone and you just automatically do it. I mean, I always say the hardest thing about exercising is making the decision to do it. You know, but once you do it on a regular basis, as Loretta mentioned earlier, not doing it feels wrong. So you do it. You know, there is no, oh, shall I go today? You just automatically do it.
So that's one of our tips, actually. We say make it easy. So if you can incorporate it into your day, it's much easier for you to do it. So I know loads of people that join the gym, they've got to get home, or they're at home, they've got to cook the dinner, they've then got to drive to the gym, they've got to put their clothes on, they've got to wait for the class that they want, and then they've got to drive home. That's really hard to make that part of your routine. It's really difficult. So I would say try and do something little and often, because repetition is the key for creating habits. So, you know, walk your kids to school or run home, or, you know, at lunchtime, do a really brisk walk and make that every day. And just 20 minutes of exercise is really, really beneficial. So just doing little and often is fantastic.
And also, as we touched on about working from home, taking these short breaks, you know, is really, really important. So you get out, you get some fresh air, you get a change of scenery. I mean, companies are understanding this now. That's why they're doing things like walking meetings or standing desks. And we need to move. You know, otherwise we become really sluggish, not only in our body, but in our thinking. I mean, when Loretta and I, we write sitcoms, you know, and if we get really stuck, we're like, oh, I can't work out how we can do that, and I just can't work out how the character comes round, it just doesn't work. We'll go, right, let's just go for a walk. And we'll go for an hour's walk. There's a walk near my mum's in Porridge, it's beautiful. We'll go for an hour, and I'm telling you, 9 times out of 10, halfway round we'll go, that's it. And it just does the oxygen to your brain. And I think it's really important working from home to get those regular breaks and to get out.
Well, actually, I read a book by a top neurologist.
Shall I put these in?
Yeah, when my daughter was young. And I think the title was something like How to Make Your Kid Brainy. And I was like, well, yeah, someone's got to make money. So I'm like thinking, right, I'm going to put it all on her. But anyway, he was a top neurologist, and his #1 tip for keeping the brain at its optimum was exercise. And he talked about the oxygen going to the brain, the cells. He does all his meetings, all his writing, he does it on a, what do they call it? What's that thing?
Don't know.
The thing that you run on a
we
gym.
We need more turmeric for our dementia.
Yeah.
Treadmill.
Treadmill, that's it, yeah. It's obviously not working for me. So it's really important for the brain. It's also anti-aging. So exercise.
Tell me this fact.
Yeah, I like this fact. So basically, as we get older, our cells, we've got a thing called telomeres, and they shorten as we get older. But with exercise, it stops the rate at which these telomeres shorten by. So it really is making you younger. And, you know, the big thing is they say doing it every day, you know, or a little bit every day.
Yeah, because some people will go out and they'll do an hour and then they won't do it again for 2 weeks because it put them off so much, they did so much and they hated it. So even if you just do little bits every day, I think it really is the way forward.
Also, the other thing to remember is that, you know, say you only could have time to do one in 1 week, that doesn't matter. Everything you do is beneficial, and I think that's quite reassuring, because sometimes you think, oh, what's the point? Haven't got any time this week. But even if you've got 10 minutes, that is still beneficial.
Other thing to do is to sort of start your day the night before. So a really good tip is to, if you decide that you're going to exercise, is to put your clothes out on you know, ready for the morning, because our brain is so used to looking for shortcuts. You get up in the morning, you're like, oh, I can't find my socks. That's it, I'm not doing it, I haven't got time, can't be doing this now, I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
So it will convince us, it will look for any out. So don't give yourself an out. You know, if you know that you're the type of person that is looking for that out, you know, get your gym gear ready the night before. We always say as well, if you're feeling really miserable about going for some exercise, put your gym gear on, go out for 5 minutes. If you're still hating it after 5 minutes, say to yourself, you can go home and have a cup of tea. 9 times out of 10, you won't go home. Once you're out, you're in your gear, psychologically you're there, you're going to want to do it. So, you know, they're just little things that you can do to try and set yourself up for success. Another thing is visualize it. I mean, when people say to me about visualizing, I always get really irritated because I'm not a visualizer. They go, you're on a beach. I'm not on a beach. I can't see it. I'm not there. I can't feel it. No. But we actually visualise every day naturally. You know, when you decide what you're going to eat in the evening, you do a little visualisation. You sort of go,
yeah, you don't realise you're doing it.
Yeah, should I have this or should I have that?
Yeah.
And you sort of imagine it a bit. And so it happens naturally. So the same thing like when you're exercising, when you're making that decision, I don't have to make a decision now. It's so ingrained in my routine. It's taken out. I just know that I'm going to go. But when you're in that stage of making the decision, don't think about how you feel when you're going to be running, like, you know, running up a hill, puffing, hating it. Don't think about that. Think about how you're going to feel after you've done it.
Well, they've actually done research on people that exercise regularly, and the research shows that they never think about exercise. They always focus on that feeling once they've achieved it. And I think that's really interesting. And I have a lot of friends that go, oh, I hate running. Oh, I hate, you know, and I'm like, well, everyone hates it.
Well, I don't love it, but I sort of love the feeling I have afterwards. But you never wake up in the morning and go, I can't wait to run. Even runners, there is always a little bit of resistance because it's a bit of a challenge. And anything that's challenging, we're pre-wired not to do it, you know, not to want to do it.
And another motivation to do it as well is that they say, if you do achieve things, it's amazing for your brain. It releases endorphins. It also lays down pathways, and you get more addicted to achieving more of achieving, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So it's really important to challenge yourself and to set those goals in whatever form they are. You know, it doesn't have to be exercise. It can be, you know, reading a bit more in the evening,
or having a smoothie every day to start your day. Whatever it is you want to do, that you want to change a bit. The other thing I say about exercise is community. It's really good to do. If you know that you need to make yourself accountable, it's really good to do it with your friend, whether it's like, I mean, exercise outdoor at the moment is massive, whether it's like, okay, cash, potato to 5K, let's do that together. And you make yourself accountable. Like my brother, he's this sort of businessman, he's loaded, and he's got a Peloton bike, and he's always competing against other, you know, his friends. But it's because he's got a competitive element to him that he doesn't want to fail. He wants to be the one that did however many K this week. I'm not competitive like that. But, and I'm quite motivated. I live with my sister. We're both, if she's gone for a run and I haven't, I feel a bit bad. And that's another thing about habits in your household. You know, so if one person of your household is obese, it's more likely that other members of your household will be obese. And so the same is true in reverse. You know, so you can really inspire each other. And I know communities like, I mean, alcohol, for example, if you wanted to stop alcohol or have a break from alcohol, there's things like 1 year no beer, which is an amazing community, you know. And you
don't have to give up for a year. You only you can give up for...
There's different challenges, like there's a month, there's 3 months to a year. I mean, we've interviewed the guy that set this company up, and it's absolutely brilliant. And
it's for middle lane drinkers. It's not for alcoholics.
No, it's just for people that think, I actually want a bit of a break, or I feel like I'm in a bit of a rut with drink. You know, it's that time, which is probably most of us, you know. It's not you alcoholics. But it's a community where everyone's checking in on each other. I had a Saturday night out this week and I didn't drink. And, you know, and it's just encouraging each other. And I know when me and Lauretta first, we don't drink, but when I first gave up drinking, it was quite hard to be around my friends. I mean, they sort of gave me a pass because I was sick, but they didn't give Lauretta a pass. They were like, why the hell is she not drinking? You know, and we'd go, I remember we went on this first hen weekend, we both went drinking, and they were going to go, oh God, this is going to be so boring, you're not drinking. And I remember us sort of having to be even like more crazy sober than anyone else, so that I couldn't be accused of, you know, being boring, like
going crazy. Like, just want to be home in bed.
But yeah, so you know, sometimes when you're starting something different, you do need support from other people. I mean, Lauretta and I are particularly lucky because we've got each other and we're aligned with what we want to achieve. So yeah, community is a good thing with exercise as well. I would really recommend it. Do you want to do another snack? And then
yeah, the other thing we wanted to talk about
is sleep. I'm just worried of the time. We'll do one more snack and then
well,
and then I'll talk about sleep because that's our favourite subject.
Yes,
and then we'll round up.
Love sleep. In fact, I don't know if it's an Irish thing, but me and Sharon, we literally talk about sleep every morning.
Yeah, every morning we'll go to each other, how did you sleep? And then we'll go into minute detail of how we slept. You know, it'll be like, well, I thought I went to sleep, but then I don't think I was asleep because I then woke up because I heard a noise. And it would go on. And then I woke at 3, and then I couldn't get back to sleep. And then there's that whole thing of waking at 3 a.m., which is like the worst time to wake because you've had quite a good sleep. If you've gone to bed at 10, you've had quite a good sleep, you know, but then you're wired awake, you know, and then you spend 4 hours trying to get back to sleep. You're like, oh, just go back to sleep, go back to sleep. And then you fall asleep at like 5:45, 15 minutes before the alarm goes off. You're like, I had 4 hours. So yeah, we absolutely love sleep, and we've got some tips on how to get the perfect night's sleep. Are you doing this?
Yeah, I'm just going to bring this over so we can see what I'm doing.
Yeah. So I've done lots of research on sleep, and obviously it's very healing and very restorative. So when I was really sick, it was really important. I got a lot of sleep. I had a toddler; it was a nightmare. But anyway, so I read a lot and I researched a lot, and I'm sure you've heard of it called the circadian rhythm, where we sort of have this master brain in our brain has this master brain that's connected to clues from the environment. So obviously light is one of the major clues. So it knows when to go to sleep. You know, melatonin starts to be released in your body when it starts to become dark. So that's why things like, you know, lights in a computer can be very difficult. You know, it sets off clues in your system that it's still waking hours, you know. So that is why they say don't be on your laptop late. Also make sure that your house has got dimmed lights towards the evening. So with this, I read a book called The Circadian Code, and with the research and the data shows us that going to bed earlier, like being asleep for like 10 to 10:30 is probably the perfect time to go to sleep, or earlier if you want to, but not past 10:30 really, because the most
if you can,
yeah, the most restorative healing sleep happens before midnight. So that is the really, really crucial time to sleep. I mean, I don't know if I've certainly noticed it. If I go to bed at 12 and sleep like say 12 till 7, I'll feel really quite tired the next day. But if I have 7 hours from like 10 till 6 or 10 till 5, I'll feel absolutely fine. It's the same amount of sleep, but in a different part of the day. So the Circadian Code really sort of recommends that going to bed early, being settled for 10:30, and also going to bed with an empty stomach. So not eating late at night, finishing your food. If you're going to be in bed for 10, finishing your food by 6, which sounds really early, and I know it's not always possible. We love it, but I mean, I love to eat at 5, you know. And our girlfriends say, do you want to go out for dinner? And I'm like, should I book it for 5:30? And they're like, no, you know, who wants to go out then? We do. But
I'm just going to interrupt you. I'm just going to show you what I'm doing quickly. I'm aware of the time. So I'm doing, this sounds hideous, but it's actually really lovely. It's avocado and banana mousse. So I've got 1 avocado, 2 overripe bananas, a bit of maple syrup. We've got some cacao. This is raw cacao powder, which is just natural chocolate. It's really good for you.
It's unprocessed. It's full of magnesium. It's mood enhancing. It's got potassium in there as well. Yeah, it's really good, and it's really flavoursome.
And then you just put it all into a food processor, and then you blend it, and you get this lovely chocolate mousse. I'm just going to quickly blend it.
Yeah.
And it's actually quite nice. You can just put it in a jar for work.
Where's the lid? Here.
Oh, there it is.
No, we're going to have a orange show. You got the thing?
Yeah.
So this is a magic mixer. It's just a food processor.
And it's that simple. There we go. And then you can just, I've got a little jar here. Can they see, Sharon?
Yeah, I think so.
And then you just put it in there and you take it to work, and that's like a nice little mini dessert. Put it in the fridge to settle.
Yeah, it's better cold.
Yeah, and you can actually sprinkle it with either blueberries or some chopped nuts, and it's really, really delicious. It's one of the things that sometimes we serve at the detox farm.
Yeah, I mean, we do loads of really great desserts at the detox farm. That's one of them. But we do like a raw vegan cake with naturally occurring sugars. It's delicious. So it's not about, and I always felt this as well when I first I thought I was giving up so much. I thought that I was missing out. I hated that feeling, like, oh, I'm not going to be able to have anything nice. I didn't do it like that, but you know, that kind of way. But I found loads of really great alternatives, so I never feel like I'm missing out. Even a date with some
peanut butter.
It tastes great. So yeah, just going back, just going to recap a little bit on sleep. So they say sort of going to bed on an empty stomach is really important. That fits in with intermittent fasting. I don't know whether you're aware of that. It's very hip now, especially in the sort of athlete world. Again, you have to do your own research. It's not for everyone. Anyone that's pre-diabetic or got sugar issues, it's not for you. But, you know, with the intermittent fasting, they say, you know, eating in an 8-hour window and then fasting for 16 hours. So I will regularly, you know, finish eating by 6, go to bed, hopefully be asleep for 10, and then I won't eat until 10 a.m. So I fasted from 6 p.m. to 10, which is really easy. It's just basically the night and then a couple of hours extra. It's really restorative. I do it for healing. It's really fat burning. Loads of men really like this. I've got my brothers onto it, and
My dad's on it
because, I mean, that sounds really sexist. Men don't like dieting, but you know, they're just as health conscious as we are. But it just really appeals to them, you know, just being able to eat and then just stopping eating.
And tell them the science behind it, because this is quite exciting. It's a guy called Victor Lungo who actually had a piece in the British Medical Journal, and he's doing a lot of this work for cancer patients and primarily anti-aging. But he did an experiment on. Yeah, you tell them. She likes it.
She said, tell the story, and she's telling it.
Yeah, sorry.
So basically, he did an experiment. He did an experiment on mice. So he set one set of mice and he gave them food all day long, same calories, and then another set of mice with calories in a restricted window. So they could only eat in that 8-hour window. Other mice could eat all day long, but they ate exactly the same. So the mice that ate all day long put on weight, got fatter and got sick. The mice that ate on the 8-hour window with the same food lost weight and got better, got healthier. And so now they're seeing this as well in humans. I know fasting's really big at the moment anyway, but it does interlink with sleep. So going to bed on an empty stomach, if you can, you know, it really helps with getting into that deep sleep. So I thought we should wind up a bit and just go over a little bit about what we've touched upon today.
We've got lots more on sleep, but we won't bore you. We'll actually send you to sleep. But we just wanted to say, you know, thank you so much for listening. I hope you've got something out of it. The clients that we've been working for have really enjoyed it, thankfully. We've worked with Barclays Wealth, we've worked with Harrods. We recently did something for a gaming company. We're working for the local council, Barnet Council. So lots of different types of companies. And I think, and you probably feel the same way, they're all after the same thing. They want, if their staff are working from home, they want them to feel connected, inspired, and a little bit better. And I just think it's the staff that we worked with, it's a lovely way to do that.
Yeah, so the companies are really investing in their staff and showing that they care about their health and well-being. And obviously, I did mention it, but you know, exercise and eating well has a direct link on mental health. You know, and we are in a very stressful time of our lives, so it's all interconnected. So we've loved working with companies. We've loved working with different clients and showing them what they can do to protect their staff, to inspire them, keep them motivated, keep them 10% healthier, and hopefully have a good time while they're doing it. So I think that's probably it from us, and I really hope you've enjoyed it and it's been informative.
That's absolutely brilliant. We really enjoyed that. We hope everyone else did too. We're just going to sort of finish off. But yeah, thank you so much. That was a lot of information to take in, but yeah, just some really great tips there as well. Actually, the last few weeks since we've been talking, I've kind of upped my game a little bit, I think, in my healthy habits, and I've definitely felt brighter throughout the day, 100%. Yeah. So we just wanted to just have a quick recap. I think, you know, this sort of really, I think the good food creates a good mood. That's definitely true for me personally, and hopefully for everyone else as well. And just, I think, like you say, just starting with little things, rather, I think what I've been guilty of in the past is kind of going, right, I'm going to give up alcohol, I'm going to eat healthily, and I'm going to go to the gym, and, you know, 2 days in, I'm really miserable and not really doing any of it. So just making those small incremental changes over a period of time, I think it's really, you know, a lot easier to do that. And I think, you know, just checking in with the team, making sure that they're kind of, you know, sort of on track as well, I think is really important. And, you know, whereas you might have had healthy snacks in the office, fruit delivered, that's probably not happening at the moment. So how are you ensuring that actually your team's looking after themselves and not, perhaps, starting to hit the drink at 4 or 5 o'clock. And there seemed to be at the beginning of lockdown, everything was centered around let's have drinks on Zoom, and it was all alcohol based, and perhaps actually there are other options as well. And obviously just encouraging people to take breaks as well. I think when you are at home all the time now, it's easy to just sit in front of the computer all day, and actually just allowing your people to just take the breaks when they want to do that, I think is really important. And maybe, offering some free online exercise classes, putting those on, getting people involved in that as a group rather than, as I say, these kind of drinks on Zoom all the time. So just before we finish, I think we've got time for some questions for Sharon and Lauretta. So over to you guys. I think, Carmi, if you could unmute everyone, just if there are some questions that people would like to ask, and please, throw them out.
Yep. Yeah, sorry. Well, the question and answer table is now open for Sharon and Lauretta. So you can probably unmute yourself to ask the question, or you can use the chat box.
Sorry, I can't see a chat box, but can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah.
Sorry, we can hear you.
My question is just around like juicers versus blenders versus those like NutriBullet things, and I just wondered, so I bought a NutriBullet or whatever it's called years ago, and got into throwing everything in, but then was reading stuff around, if you do it too harshly, it zaps all the nutrients, and I just wondered, is a juicer better at sort of retaining the goodness, and is it true that blending things to within an inch of their life can actually destroy some of those nutrients, if that makes sense?
Yeah, no, I've heard that a lot. So we have a juicer and a blender. So I normally, if I'm going to make a smoothie, I will juice and then I will blend afterwards.
Okay.
So that way you're getting the nutrients from the juice, but you're also getting the fibre as well. I find a lot of people do what you do, is they buy a NutriBullet and they use water to blend, and then it doesn't always taste that great. It tastes a bit like pond water. I always recommend using coconut water if you're going to blend, because it just tastes a bit better. As far as the nutrients are concerned with blending, I've not heard that it takes away nutrients. In fact, I thought it was really good because it breaks stuff down. And, there's no way. I mean, normally for breakfast, I will stick in a whole lettuce in my smoothie. You can't even notice it. I wouldn't be able to eat that much lettuce in one sitting.
I mean, there is the thing about juicers. So, like, you get different types of juicers. You get a masticating juicer, which basically the blade isn't as powerful, so it keeps the nutrition in the produce for longer. So if you had a masticating juicer, you could leave it in the fridge for 3 days and it would hold the nutrients. We haven't got a masticating juicer, but if you juice and then drink it straight away, there's very little in it. But I wouldn't juice with this one and then leave it in the fridge for 3 days. But I juice fresh, I freshly juice and then I drink it. So you don't really miss much of the nutrients, so there's only a percentage. But because for us, when we got masticating juice, it was so slow that it made me stop juicing altogether. I was like, I can't be bothered to do this. So we got the real quick one. This is a sage one. And as I said, if you drink it straight away, there's very little loss.
Yeah.
Thank
you. Thanks.
No worries.
Any other questions?
I've got a question I was going to ask, actually. I have started sort of trying to have at least one day a week where I'm not eating meat. And I think psychologically that feels quite good. It feels like, there's a dedicated day of the week where I can prepare something, make sure that everything that I've got is kind of tasty and to a good recipe. So psychologically it makes me feel quite good. But what stage do you think it would get before I really started noticing a difference? Would I have to have a bigger shift than that, or is it more about this combination that you've been speaking about of the exercise, the food, and the sleep?
I missed what you said you did on that.
In the beginning, we missed the first bit of your question.
All right, sorry. So I'm 1 day a week. I've gone without meat, and I've sort of prepared for that by trying to make sure I've got the right ingredients in, so that.
Yeah, that's fine.
I would say it will make a difference. I think just little changes, as I said, lead to big results. But I think continuity is key as well. So maybe you could change that. You could, if you're not feeling the results, then maybe you need to increase it. Say, okay, by 2 days a week. I think that one of the biggest things about if it's for weight loss, I think it's stopping the snacking in the evening once you've eaten. I think
intermittent fasting, if you can do that regularly, will have a massive benefit.
It's huge. But I think it's continuity. So it's trying to do little things every day, rather than one day and then the rest of the week eating loads of pizzas.
Yeah, and I've got my ex-husband, for example. He's kind of got to the age of 45, and he's sort of put on weight, and he really wants to lose it. And he's telling me he's doing this intermittent fasting. No, he's doing 2 days smoothie a week, right? Which is great. Sometimes me and Lauretta do that, just 2 days having smoothies a week. But he's not losing any weight. And I'm like, in the days that he's not doing smoothies, he's making up for it. So in a way, it's completely counterintuitive.
Yeah.
He said the other day, I'm going to start doing, I've been doing 1 meal a day. And Lauretta was like, well, the 1 meal a day that you're having is obviously absolutely massive. Because if you do 1 meal a day, you are going to lose weight, but if you overcompensate on the days off, or that 1 meal is, you're not going to do yourself any good. So, yeah, I think sort of trying to continue those habits, Ian, more than just 1 day, I think will have a bigger impact.
And I also think, a lot of people, talk about weight loss and exercise, and I think exercise is brilliant, but I think the 90% of weight loss is down to food choices.
Yeah.
And I think what happens is people exercise, and they've shown this actually in research, and overcompensate. Oh, I've done a run, and then they get back and they go crazy. But actually,
they think that they can eat so much more.
And I think especially as you get older, you can't. It has to be done in combination with, you can eat. Of course you can eat good stuff and be full, but it's about, I think it's the empty calories. They're the things that really put on weight as far as I'm concerned. Things like croissants. If I ate a croissant, I would not be full.
No, you need 5 to be full. You know what I mean? When we have a smoothie, we put avocado in it. It really sustains you.
It really is filling. So it's not those empty calories that aren't nutritionally dense. You'll find that you feel the more kind of nutritionally dense the food is, the fuller you will feel, and the less likely you are to want the rubbish food. It really is contagious. Do you know what I mean?
I think some great tips there. The other question I had was around some of the smoothie recipes. Have you got anywhere where you've got is there a one-stop shop for that, or is there a book you would recommend where we could maybe?
I am starting a cookbook, and I have got a small little one that
a little ebook.
Yeah, I'm not very good at writing recipes, so I have to force myself to sit down and do it. I want someone to write it for me. I want to tell them what I do, and just you write it, because I haven't got that.
The detail. She's very instinctive cook. So even when we're doing demos at the bar, they're like, well, how much? What's the measure? She's like, oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, we have got a little recipe book, and I have got a little sheet that I give to my detox barners that come with some smoothie and some juices. But I would really recommend Jason Vale, and he does an app. And I've done 28-day juice fast following his app. But he does 3 days, he does 7 days. He tells you everything, all the ingredients you need. They taste really good. So I would really recommend him.
Cookbooks. I really like Deliciously Ella. I don't know if she's plant-based, but she's very clean eating. And I find whenever I've tried her recipes, they work. You know how you get some cookbooks and they all look great in the picture, and then you try it and it looks rubbish. I find her recipes not only work, but they're really nice as well. And she does lots of really nice sort of satay sauces with rice noodles and just nice stuff. So yeah, I'd recommend her.
Yeah, that's good. You're certainly making us hungry now, I think.
Yes.
I don't you guys know, but I love to go to Mildred's. I don't know if you
Oh, yeah, I like Mildred.
Yeah. So busy though, isn't it always?
can't get in. So I wonder if they do a recipe book. Might be right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's delicious. Like, it makes me think, gosh, how do you cook like that without the meat? And yeah. So just to finish off then, if there's no more questions, just to say that if you would be interested in talking about kind of your team's sort of health and well-being and employee engagement issues that are coming up, then Ian and I offer a complimentary consultation call to have a chat through some ideas, things that you might be experiencing. So, just drop us a line and we're really happy to pop that into the diary. And, if you just want to brainstorm some ideas. But we just also want to, thank Lauretta and Sharon again. It's been brilliant to know you the last few weeks, and really appreciative of what you've done for us today, and we hope everyone's enjoyed that.
Yeah.
And also,
shall I quickly just show you the what are these called, Loretta?
Banana balls.
Banana balls.
Yeah, banana balls.
What a great name. There you go.
Ooh.
And they're hot, and they honestly taste delicious with a cup of tea, and they're healthy.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, no problem.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks for joining.